32 days into the government shutdown, and two congressional Republicans have emerged as the biggest critics of their own party's handling of it. One of them is California Congressman Kevin Kiley, who has been urging Speaker Johnson to call lawmakers back to Washington. The other, I'm sure you're familiar with.
I'm deeply angry. I'm deeply disappointed. I'm actually to a level of pure disgust that we are wasting the opportunity that we have and not solving the problems. I'm so angry at my own party, and I'm angry at all the men in leadership in the House and the Senate. And I'm like, you guys are weak and pathetic.
And one of those two members of Congress joins us now, Congressman Kevin Kiley from California. So, Congressman, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day because you were on a couple weeks ago when we were talking about exactly the same thing. And it's not like there has been much movement at all. Or is there anything happening behind the scenes that is moving this shutdown to a conclusion?
I mean, you're right. I would have hoped in the last 2 weeks this thing could have been brought to an end. I do think there are some encouraging signs. I've actually had a number of conversations with people on both sides of the aisle that have been constructive. And we're hearing, that things might be getting close to moving somewhere over in the Senate. So I think there's some hope. But I mean, the situation is really urgent right now. We're talking about folks potentially missing their SNAP benefits. The situation with flights has gotten very bad with air traffic controllers not being paid now. All the folks being furloughed, all the services being shut down. I mean, we need to find some way to get out of this mess immediately.
Congressman, I know you have sponsored legislation to get SNAP benefits flowing again. Two federal judges ruled yesterday ordering the administration to resume those payments in some fashion. Why bother sponsoring legislation on this when, as these judges have determined, the administration has the power through contingency funds to get that money out? It seems as if they're withholding the funding precisely to inflict more pain in order to gain some leverage on this issue. Why not call them out on that?
Well, no, my view is just we have to get the benefits to people whatever way we can. I mean, people depend on these benefits to feed themselves and their families. So obviously the easiest way to do that is just to open the government and then SNAP benefits resume. Or we could pass the bill that I'm co-sponsoring, which would provide an appropriation for full SNAP benefits even during the shutdown. Or sort of as the last resort, the administration is now saying that, according to the judge, they have the legal authority to tap this contingency fund. The problem is that there's only enough money in there for partial payments for a month. I mean, it's really just a Band-Aid that isn't going to get people the help that they need. What we need is an appropriation that will actually allow for the full resumption of SNAP benefits going forward.
Congressman, what did you make of the Great Gatsby party at the White House last night?
I wasn't invited, so yeah, I can't tell you.
Well, I mean, I'm more the optics is what I'm asking. Do you think that was the right move for Republicans to attend a party? Literally, I think there was like a tagline attached to it, like a little party never killed nobody or something like that. I mean, as people are literally on the brink of going hungry.
I honestly didn't see it. I know that there have been, I personally have been careful. I've been doing fundraisers, that sort of thing, while the shutdown has been going on. So I don't know what the party was all about, but I do think that, that none of it changes the fact that people are really suffering right now in a lot of different ways. And it's because of the failure of politicians in Washington, D.C. to do their job. And I think that's why people are just so disillusioned with Congress right now. I just saw a new poll showing Congress has a 13% approval rating, which, puts Congress on par with Putin and Kim Jong-un. I mean, and this is why, because people see these just failure to do our most basic job here in Washington and millions of people having to pay the price.
Congressman, the last time we had you on, we asked about one of Democrats' key demands that hasn't gotten as much attention, which is whether there should be some language in a new CR that makes it harder for the president to unilaterally cut funding that has been appropriated by Congress, which, according to the Constitution, Congress is supposed to have power of the purse. In particular, we asked you about the fact that $232 million worth of energy projects have been canceled in your own district by the energy secretary. At the time, you said, well, something to the effect of, these are hard decisions that have to be made because of the shutdown. We actually looked into it, and this has nothing to do with the shutdown. This is funding that was previously appropriated by Congress. The shutdown is about funding that would be coming in the future. So again, I just want to ask you again, do you think that the president and his OMB director should have the ability to unilaterally cut funding like those projects in your district that has been appropriated by Congress?
Yeah, so the projects, we have looked into that, and I'm definitely going to do everything I can to make sure that funding gets restored for the folks in my district. Generally speaking, the answer to your question is that this authority does lie with Congress. Now, there are some, shades of gray here as far as what discretion the administration has, whatever administration it might be, over how to spend funds that have been allocated by Congress. But generally speaking, yes, in order for there to be a rescission of funds, that requires a simple majority of the House and Senate, which has happened once this Congress, and which is actually itself sort of a point of contention right now in these negotiations, because the sort of asymmetry is that appropriations bills require a supermajority, but rescission bills only require a simple majority. So there's the potential for something that is done through bipartisan agreement to be undone on a party line vote. And my understanding of some of what Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer are looking for is some sort of assurances as to how that's going to be handled in the future.
Do you agree with that demand, or do you think that's a reasonable request?
Yeah, I don't think that's actually an unreasonable. I think this is kind of the most sympathetic part of their argument, is that if something is going to be done in a bipartisan way, then they might be concerned that it'll be undone in a strictly partisan line way. Now, I don't want to exaggerate, like there's only been one rescissions bill. I think it was for $9 billion. So it's a very small amount of the funds that have been appropriated that have been affected by rescissions. But nevertheless, I think that that is part of the conversation right now.
Congressman Kevin Kiley, we didn't even get to talk to you about Proposition 50 in your state. So we'll have to have you back on after Tuesday when we see how that all turns out. Thanks for joining us.
All right, you bet. I'll look forward to it. Thanks for having me.